All right, here we go. Thank you so much for you folks taking time out of your day to be here. This is a long time coming, something I've wanted to do for a while. And this is a crazy journey. Really, the work is starting now. It's important to know that this is an idea and a dream that I've had for how long?
Oh, at least 20, 25 years.
So this is my best friend, Jonathan Rose. He knows me and my collection and my journey well. He also was one of the organizers with me for Callous Gamers for Kids, which raised $100,000 for local charities with close friends and support of his wife, Chelsea Beck, Corey Strite, Chris Trimew, among many other people in the community. He also was an organizer with me on the Portland Retro Gaming Expo for the first 6 years. Yeah. And so it's very important that he's here because he has a perspective that's grounded and knows me better than almost anybody. And I appreciate it.
It's been fascinating watching this go from a collection of 200 loose nest carts in a garage above a crazy lady's house to what it is now. It's been quite the journey.
And then to the right of me, or to your left, is Eric Jensen, 64 bits or less. He is someone I feel is very passionate about original hardware, playing original games, not emulated, and that's like his thing, as well as other things. And I felt like when I met him, I felt like we had a connection because he got it. Like, when you talk to someone and they connect on your perspective, where you're at, it's really important. And as this idea moved along, it was a dream, or an idea, dream, and then, well, dreams stay dreams unless you start a goal and start working on it. And this is something I want to do a long time. I think my biggest flaw was just you talking about it early, but okay, I got to do something about that. So I did. And so where are we now? I formed a nonprofit. So nonprofits formed, 501c3 in the state of Washington in 2020. And so, so this is our board. What?
I just wasn't sure.
Yeah. So I assembled a team initially of who can help me get it to the next step. And really the big thing is, where do we go from here? Well, first you need to do the right thing, form a nonprofit, establish a board of people that can help you get to the next level. Everybody on here is important and they bring something different to the team. Some couldn't be here. So myself, I introduce you to these two. Jesse Dreyer, longtime hardcore game enthusiast, very close friend. Another person, I gotta tell a side story. So his wedding, I was officiating that. One of my best conversations game-wise was with this gentleman. And we talked, I don't know how many hours? Hours. Wow. And this guy gets me, he gets gaming, he gets what I want to do. He's known about that for a long time. And I feel that he brings something to it too, because gaming and having the gameplay experience remembered and its essence is very important. And I think he brings that to the table along with him and with Eric. Those are the gamers that need to be part of a board, a nonprofit board. And so we've been meeting monthly for 2 years, so why didn't we do anything earlier? Well, COVID kind of just turned the world upside down. I didn't feel I was ready. There's people elsewhere that might say, well, why didn't you, say something? Well, I wasn't ready to. Really wanted to do it grounded. Portland Retro Gaming Expo is my home. I've gone to every single one of these. I wanted to announce it here. It's going to go on my channel. It's going to be recorded. And other people involved for David Fucher. He's a former mayor of Kelso, 8 years, I think. He's also a financial guy. So he's a mayor guy and he's a financial guy. You need a money guy. You need a guy to navigate systems, especially politics, and on that city level. Very intelligent gentleman. I worked with his wife, ironically, for about a decade in community mental health. And so there was a lot of connections there, and he knew both me and my wife. Karen Clemenson, who was involved with radio as well as nonprofits. She brings a flavor as well as a local offering of information, very supportive. Rick Weiss is on the board, Portland Retro Gaming Expo's president, and it was really important for me to just keep them in the loop of what's going on. And so he's part of that as well. Portland Retro Gaming Expo has my support. They've sponsored Callous Gamers for Kids, as well as just been with me 100% of the way. These people understand what I want to do, and it's real, it's moving forward, it's with real people, it's a real thing, and that's what I'm really here to tell you. It's not some dream or scam or whatever else some silly, stupid people say. It's real. We're here now. I wouldn't take this on and move forward if it wasn't anything else. And so that's important for me to say. You know, and there's always going to be people that say noise, whatever, you know, that's just whatever, I don't care. Anyways, so Justin LeClaire, another person, business person, knows my collection well. He does not live near us, so that's why he's not here. And then Josh Byerly, who is a business person, a local business person, wants us to get to the next step and has connections to businesses that might be interested in hosting a physical location, which is very important. And Mike, might as well just happy to say that there's a couple possibilities of informal conversations that we've already had about that. Can't say now, but we're on it. Okay, we're on it, and it's real, and that's the next step, and it's a very important step. Anything you want to say? Sorry, I didn't mean to talk too much.
You're good. I would say one of the things that I really like about this project, that's always been true of him, is, you know, we've been doing game shows for, God, way too long. It's like 16, 17 years now.
Yeah, and even before that, we were talking games.
I mean, we literally met going for the same game at a Salvation Army. That's how we met.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
But one of the things about John
Do you remember the
is...
game?
What's that?
Do you remember the game?
I was some crappy Genesis sports title. You got it.
Yeah.
Should not surprise me.
1,000 trades between us over the years. Great
So one of the really big things about John, one of the reasons we've been friends for so long, and one of the reasons I'm involved with this, is one of the things I'm really passionate about is that, you know, he was talking just a minute ago about the experience. You know, we all grew up playing games with friends until late at night, co-op, couch co-op, all that stuff, and the culture around that, and the camaraderie, and the early shows were just, you know, the early PRGE when it was still NWCGE was, you know, we're lucky to get 200 people in a
200 people total.
total.
Yeah.
But it was all about camaraderie, and back then it was like nobody knew what this stuff was, nobody cared about this stuff, but it was great, you know, people like Jesse and stuff, we would just start talking, and you get people that were passionate about stuff, and one of the really cool things about this project is it's all blown up now, and it's this huge, big thing, but John, and I think the people connected to this project have never lost that connection to us, all of us, the people who play the games, and the culture, and the stuff that we shared, and one of the things that he really wants to preserve is it's really not about him. In fact, we have to basically make it about him sometimes because it is his culture.
Seriously.
My name's not
We
even
were just
in
arguing about this like 5 minutes ago.
my name's not even in it. My N64 collection's in the museum, but they said your name's on it. Does that bother you? No, I don't care about that. What matters to me is knowing that part of my collection is in public. That matters everything to me. That means everything to me. I don't care if my name's on it. I don't care about that.
But it's as much about preserving the people and the culture as it is going to be about a bunch of rare games in a glass case on display somewhere. So I think that's important to state because I think, you know, we want this to feel like something that people are involved with.
Yes.
You can come and share rather than just being, hey, here's a bunch of really rare games on display.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
There's been a lot of talk, you know, in the board through a couple of years, just about trying as hard as we can to make it experiential, the museum, so that
It was a board
that
decision.
culture can stay alive in the museum.
Yeah, and it was a board decision to wait to this day to go public. We were ready. It was the right timing. The planets aligned. I think that we're entering a new normal. Now's the time to move forward. And it felt right. And that's what matters, because this is not a me project. This is a we project. I know they say it's like, it's no longer, I don't look at it as my collection anymore, even though it technically is. But it's a one-way donation. Once a physical location is established, I'm donating it to the nonprofit. I'm not on lease.
In
I'm
fact,
not selling.
That's already in writing, is what
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. So it's a donation, and I feel good about that. It's not a lease. It's not, I get it back. And once you do that, it has to stay with the nonprofit. So if the nonprofit dissolves, then it goes to another nonprofit. So that's really important. I don't think people realize when they collect, what do you do with this stuff? Does your wife want to deal with it? Does your family care? Probably not. Okay, my family does not want to deal with it. They said it actually would be painful to deal with if something happened to you. We don't want to deal with it. Thank you for doing something about that. Oh, by the way, if we want to move, my wife's been amazing support. God bless her. So she says, by the way, if we want to move, these games can't really be here. I want you to have your collection, but it'll have to be different if we move somewhere else. And I honor that because she's been my wife over 20 years. And I love her, to death. And I respect and honor that. It's a balance. It's definitely a balance. And we'll do a Q&A afterwards if we have time. All right. Good? All right. All right. We got a logo. Yay, we got a logo. Hey, we got a logo. Okay, we've done a lot actually. So it was an idea. It started out an idea. I talked about it a lot. I wanted to do it, but these folks know if I set my mind to something, I do it. Look at my collections that I've amassed. It started out, I wanted to do it. Then I set a goal, and then I did it. I'm the type of person, if I say I'm gonna do it, I do it, okay? I'm kind of don't dance with words. And, I'm happy to be direct about certain things. This is gonna happen. This is moving forward. I'm with real people, a real thing. Destination acquired, entity has been formed. We've been meeting a lot. Yeah, and informal and formal. Logo website created. I do have a Q&A and a button design by Eric Jensen. Awesome round button design with a little TV and antenna errors here in it. And then, so we'll do Q&A and we'll try to answer questions, get a free button. Bank account created, strategic planning has begun. And so we're here to just talk about just overall where we look at this and finalize a business plan. And that really, the business plan varies because it all depends on what location we end up getting. It's like Goldilocks, right? Small, medium, and large. We could get a little place to get off the ground. We could get a well-established place. But that takes a lot of money. That takes money. We're not here to ask for games or money. We're looking for someone to partner with that can get us to that physical location. We have some ideas and a couple options on the table already, but we're looking for.
And we've had some talks.
Yeah.
Too, with some
Yes.
companies.
Yes.
One of which might definitely go somewhere.
Yeah. One's definitely checks all the boxes and be ecstatic if that was a thing. Yeah, let's do a Volt. So I do this. I'm an analogy guy. So who knows what Voltron is? Dun, 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 dun. Okay, if this one place works out, we're gonna form video game Voltron. Okay, and I'll form the head. Okay, so seriously, if it works out, oh my gosh, it's gonna be awesome. But
And we can't say what that means.
yeah, it could be amazing, but I can't say before than that. But anyways, ecstatic. So it made my whole weekend. Anyways, all right. Okay, so for people who don't know, just raise your hand if you don't know anything about what I've collected over the many years. Okay, a couple people, yay, all right. All right, I'm committed to, and so a lot of people ask, well, what are you gonna keep? Very little, okay? I don't want a game room. I just need a small studio for my YouTube. It can be digital, I'll have a shelf. I don't want a game room. I don't want half a room. I want a little shelf, okay? The purpose of me collecting the majority of what I've collected over 30 years is for this. It's always been for this. I've never wanted to sell it. There's been some offers too on the table. Nope. At one big company, I won't say who, and I think that they wanted to buy a part of my collection. And
They
it,
definitely did.
they did, but there was nothing on the table. But it was an informal talk, but I don't want that, okay? I think even selling part of it would, like, it's like chopping off an arm. But what if one place could house most of it? Now, some of the stuff I collect is hard to display, and it's hard to, like, what is it? But my collection includes over 30 complete US game collections, including NES, missing a Stadium Events box, didn't have the $43,000. Sega Genesis, only missing Outback Joey Heartbeat System. N64 box collection, who saw it? Anybody see it in the museum? Thank you very much thank you, yeah. And thank you for forgiving the FIFA 98 sun-faded box and the GT64. There's about a dozen that I was sad that I couldn't upgrade. Also, a majority of my YouTube is to upgrade my condition of my games or add things to it. So that is over half of what brings in, which is not a ton, is to add little bits and pieces of things that I want to flush out still. Sega Saturn, K-Kona, Sega Saturn Shiro. Who saw the Sega Museum? Beautiful, beautiful collection. I don't have that, but I do have a complete Sega Saturn US collection, including Daytona USA Circuit Edition. Nice. So, Atari Jaguar fans out there? Anybody? All right, yay! All right, we gotta stick together here. All right. Plus many other obscure sets. Vectrex. I have several Fairchild Channel F, Odyssey 2, Atari 7800, 5200, Lynx. All complete, US, nothing all the crazy stuff, but many others too. Many others that don't have complete, but all that would go with this. Okay, we're talking thousands of games. People ask how many. I have no idea. I haven't counted it. It's not my thing, right? I'm not a volume collector. I'm not a, hey, look how big my collection is, and you know, it's really to be comprehensive as best as I can on a budget. To have that someplace to say this is what's out there. This is the education. It's really important to tell a story. Video Game History Foundation does a great job of telling the story and really fleshing that out. Board of Directors dedicated to pursue long-term plan, a future physical establishment. Yeah, anything you want to add to that? Sorry.
Just, I would say, one of the things about this guy, if you don't know him, is when he says, he picks a goal and then does it, I don't think a lot of people realize just how, once he decides to do one thing, good luck. You can throw a mountain in his way and he will beat his head against it until there's a cave going through the mountain to come out the other side. It doesn't matter what you were trying to do on that trip. If something comes into that goal, your road trip, he's pulling over, stopping, talking to people. It's almost become a running joke, in a lot of ways, because he knows 50 million people, because he's literally been talking about this exact same thing for 25 years.
People
who doubt, and some of the silly online drama stuff, anybody who doubts him, anybody who knows him, I just roll my eyes, because he's going to beat his head against it until it happens in some form or another. And now, with the group, he's got a whole group behind him. So
it's not a me thing.
I'm very confident we're going to get somewhere. Now, what that ultimately looks like, in a post-COVID world with all the challenges we're facing, we don't know. We have to be flexible and open-minded, but in some form, this is going to happen some way.
Think about how weird this is. We live in the Northwest. We have Nintendo in our backyard, Microsoft, but there's not a console museum in the Northwest. How weird is that? Raise your hand if that bothers you. Yeah, there's amazing other museums elsewhere. We need one.
Yeah.
We need one in driving distance that represents the Northwest, that represents the culture of gaming. Because I think when I come to the Northwest, I'm like, man, there's some serious gamers here, and they all have different stories to tell. And I feel that when I moved to Washington. I'm from California. I'm sorry. But I moved to Washington in 2005. I feel that here, and I want to celebrate that, and I want to do something about it. People ask me, well, how can you balance teaching, family life, and doing 3 videos of YouTube? Because I want to. Because I set in my mind, I said, I'm going to do this, and I want to do it. And when I want to do it, I end up doing it. And so I know there's a difference between criticism and harassment, and trust me, I've dealt with both. And there's some criticism, okay, I see that. You don't know the whole story. And then there's harassment, and definitely, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And sometimes criticism as well. But,
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't done everything right. I'm human. I'm a human being, and I've made a lot of mistakes. But I'm here to say this is real. This is moving forward. So, those are great pictures of me. Steve Wright, I think, did this picture. It's my NES collection, real quick, and that was at PRG. Who saw my NES collection?
I do.
All right. What about Sega Genesis?
Oh,
Yeah.
What year was your NES?
Okay, I'm gonna get it wrong. 2017, 18, 17. The last one was the last show was Genesis.
Yeah, I saw that one.
So it was the year before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the 2018.
Yes. Oh yeah, you're right. Thank you, folks. See, that's why they're here. So a little funny story about this. I thought it'd be smart to organize, and it looks pretty that way, okay? Who likes aesthetically pleasing collections, okay? A couple things. It really pains me to have my games in the garage this long. I never wanted that. I never wanted to have it in boxes. It pains me. I don't like it. And that's good though, because it motivated me to do something about it. Why don't you do a game room tour? Why don't you show that? I don't want a game room. That doesn't matter. Look what I have. No, I want to show you what's out there, and I want to educate people, and I want to share it. Okay, I'm that type of guy. Real funny story about this. So I thought it'd be cute and look better to organize it by game company. Until you want to find a game on a wall that's like from here to the door, and it didn't work for me. Anyways, I had to do it alphabetical. It looks ugly, but anyways, that's a pretty version of doing it. So, anyways, all right, yeah. Okay, so we are very aware of what we need. We are looking to seek partnerships with companies and/or businesses interested that can offer space for a physical, permanent public display. We're already we're on deck with talking to a business. We are flexible in location and area in the Northwest. This doesn't have to be me. This is not me anymore. I don't care about that. I want to be the curator. In fact, I think to be completely honest, it's going to work better if a business hosts it for their thing initially, so it can be viable. Being viable and being in a physical location means everything. That's important, okay? And I think I see that probably being a win-win, and I've had a lot of healthy input about that. The decision is the board. It's not my decision about what we do with this. Even though it's technically my collection, I don't look at it like that anymore. It's a decision of a team of very intelligent people and people that know me very well moving forward. So, continued funding, long-term partnerships important. I don't want it to dissolve in 3 months. That would be devastating. Yeah, I mean, all that work and then, yeah, I don't want that. That's important and that's tough, okay? I know the funding is going to be a thing. One thing I can offer on my channel is that if a business did take it on, I could advertise for them. I could promote them. You know, I'm kind of a marketing muscle. That YouTube is really to get the word out about what I have and then turn that into an avenue of marketing for the museum. And so consultation with anybody who has experience setting up on physical museums. Robert Schmuck of Living Computer Museum has reached out. He wanted to talk to me and some other people to give me suggestions and the board. We're open to that. We've already had a conversation formally. Yeah, several people have reached out like, hey, we can help you along the way.
It seems like right as we're announcing it, yeah, there's all of a sudden
Yeah.
lots of people wanting to talk to us about it. So that's
Yeah.
good. It's a very good sign.
We want to work with all the other game museums. Sometimes it's really important that museums work together. That's a passionate thing for me, working with the Video Game History Foundation, working with other game museums. How can we work together? We can't be the end-all, be-all. Nobody can. And if you're saying that, then you're not being honest with yourself. I'm not going to be everything of this museum. It's going to be hopefully an amazing museum. It's going to be a story and an avenue. It's not going to capture everything. Okay, I can't collect everything. I think it's near impossible to have everything in one spot. It's going to be a story and a flavor. But hopefully, you know, it represents a lot of things, you know.
And the experience.
Yeah, I'm sad for someone who's looking for something and doesn't see it. But we all have limitations, and there's going to be limitations on what it can show, but at least initially, doing my best, folks.
Well, I'd also add, one of the things we've really talked a lot about in our board meetings is, you know, how to make this, we don't want this to be a static museum where you walk in and there's just rows of games and, oh, cool, you know, studio events, cool, let's go get a hamburger. You know, you know, it'll really depend on what funding we get, what the physical location is,
Yes.
who's involved, but we have discussed quite extensively a lot of ideas for keeping things interesting and interactive, you know, for involving the community with the site and having it being more than just a collection of games. It's a, you know, a rotating set of experiences that you can come and participate in, not just go and look at cool stuff that you wished, you know, you had found at a garage sale somewhere.
Absolutely. Anything to add?
I had something. No, I think, I don't know.
Flexibility and being fluid. History changes, perspectives change. Having the same thing shown over and over again, it has to be mobile and fluid and telling different stories and different things at different times. That's important because gamers, as they age, they're going to have a different flavor and they're going to remember different things. It doesn't mean we forget things. It's just that we'll have to present it in different ways as time moves forward. Very important to me. All right.
So with this one?
Yep. All right. So we are very aware of the challenges ahead. We are an inexperienced board setting up physical public museums. We're gamers, we're collectors, we're professionals. We've some experience with nonprofit. We have a money guy. You know, we have a mayor. I think it's important. But these things take time. So the people that have complained like it's taken a long time never have done what I'm doing. You know, in the Northwest.
Certainly not during COVID either.
Yeah, and you talk to the Game History Foundation, the NVM, any other main large physical museum, and they say, oh yeah, it took years to do. And guess what? They also dealt with doubters and people that said that I wasn't going to happen. And I get it. Because people don't know, if they don't hear or know something, they're going to fill in the blanks of what something is. Assumptions are a killer in our society. You know, and I get, I know people talk and stuff, but I'm here just to say, hopefully, that you're hearing me now and getting the word out of this is what it is. So if people have questions about the museum, send them a link. So this is where we're at. You know, this is the truth, and this is exactly where we're at. Well, we're working on a website, but the website's just rudimentary right now. And so it really doesn't have a ton to it. I think once we establish a place, we would work possibly with that business and just do some cross promotion there. We do have a website we've been paying for a while, and we have someone working on it. That person, it's like anything. You know, we have meetings about this. Hey, what do you think of the website? Here's the content. Oh, let's change that. Let's do that. Is it ready to show yet? Probably not. But that's where we're at. You know, great thing. Securing a physical location means everything. Everybody's like, well, it's not real because it's not physical. Well, that's just wrong. That's just like, the black and white thinking of like, well, it takes a while to get a physical location. That's what we're working on, and we know that's a challenge. I am confident that we'll find a place for someone to work with. It's going to take a long time. This is a long-term project and something I've said many, many times. It is. But I'm happy to talk about it now because I have the information and the team to move forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It might happen, finding the people, the place might happen quicker than we think, but no matter what, it will take a long time before doors open.
Yeah. But I'm happy to, send people there or say it's a thing. I want to thank everybody who's been supportive or been followed me for many years. Or even if you're a doubter, hopefully this educates people on exactly where I'm at and where I'm going. and to fill in the blanks of information that they didn't have. And yeah, we're here. Let's see here. Oh yeah, end goals and purpose. All right, I'll try to give 10 minutes of Q&A for some people. It's important to educate and promote video game history to the public, to offer an opportunity for people to experience video game culture of yesteryear on original hardware as much as we can. Okay, some things overheat if you have them on for so long, but like there's going to be some compromises. But for the most part, I love original hardware. I know these folks appreciate it. My booth at 335, I have original CRTs on original hardware showing homebrew games. Really important. To expand the knowledge, to educate people, to inform people, the understanding of video games experience from previous generations. If you don't know what you're looking at, I'm not doing my job. I want to educate you on what you're looking at, why it's important in a simple way that's not too wordy. It's a balance. It's a balance of like, and space is an issue, and all that's challenging. So I want to offer a balance of that. And that's where like feedback and even critique at that time will be important. We hear that and adjust it accordingly. That's going to be a win-win. It's hard. A balance of like showing a crazy game collection, but making it understandable and more than just static. Like I really like what John said. Rose, sorry. Call each other last names.
There's like 10 Johns were associated with
Yeah, John Riggs. Yeah. So that's important. That's really important. I know that physical original hardware. That's very passionate of us. But I know that's a big thing with Eric.
Yeah.
And his voice and the voice of the board is important moving forward. It's their voices incorporated in with what I want to do. And taking that education and collective thought and putting it into a goal moving forward is very important. We are wanting to set up physical location in the Northwest. That's a must. That's why it's called the Northwest Video Game Museum. Someone wanted to possibly take it out of the country. That was not on the table ever. And I was pretty clear about that. And that's fine. People doing game stuff around the world. I want to represent the Northwest. In the Northwest, and that's really important. Yeah, and we don't want to limit it to the centers around console, handheld, and classic gaming computer history, as my friend John Rose here has really educated me on some things that I wasn't versed on, as well as Eric, as well as my own flavor. But I try to, who's seen my channel with my obscure stuff, the Aquarius Homebrew computer videos, I like to cover everything and represent everything. The challenge will be to get that into one spot, but those stories are important to tell too. If you're a fan of like some obscure console or handheld that didn't get a lot of attention, I can be that guy to give it some light, and when I can. I'm not everything. It's, there's eclectic things I miss. I'm mostly a console and handheld guy. With some classic computer knowledge, thank you to the knowledge that has been shared by my friends and my personal research. Commodore VIC-20, Atari 8-bit, really Amiga, TI-99-4A, Apple II, those classic computers, especially classic gaming computers. It's going to be focused on gaming though. So computers that weren't centered around gaming, like that's not what we want to do. We want to center it around gaming. Does it play games? Great. Even a calculator. I don't know if anybody here, TI-81, TI-85. Yeah, playing those games and stuff. I mean, that's important to tell that story, right? Oh yeah, it got me through several college classes. So, telling those stories, and like that, you were telling me like a handheld. There's these like computers that weren't made to play games, so you can get games on them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a story. Okay, down rabbit hole. All right. Yeah, we're looking to offer a comprehensive look at what games and systems have been released over the last 40 years, and look forward to network with other museums. Like I said before, it's very important.
Yeah, and I'd say one of the things we also want to look to, again, trying not to not have a very static exhibit, would be to, eventually, now that we're going public and kind of announcing what we're doing, eventually we'll probably be involving a lot of you to give feedback and ideas and things that, ways that we can do things. And then hopefully once we get the site actually established and off the ground, we'll have ways to involve you further and have it be something that's,
Yes.
kind of like PRG or whatever, that you look forward to coming of these things going on there and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. And we're going to wrap this up. We'll do a quick Q&A. We talked, actually stretched it out pretty good.
We did.
All right, if you want to help, we're not looking for donations or things right now. Suggestions, or if you have a connection to a business that would be interested in hosting, we're really looking for a site to host, and we're fielding that interest now. And so you can speak with me. I'm at booth 335, or the board members, and happy to just, let's have a talk. Let's have a serious talk. We are looking for a long-term place, though. We're looking something that's viable, because we're not talking, a box of games. So one thing to be very clear, this is a comprehensive collection. I could fill, this room right here, I could fill this, I could fill 6 of these. I could fill one of them, depending on the space, but.
The stuff we're displayed,
Yeah.
Easily. Easily.
Really important that it's properly displayed. The reason why it's been a challenge, one of the other challenges too, the display that my N64 collection is in, that's $6,000. Okay, and so that is a challenge, okay? On a teacher's salary, that's tough, I got a lot of my games, and I've collected them a long time. If I was to start now, I wouldn't have what I have, which is important because, I think there's a lot of people that have a lot of things, but if you started now, it'd be near impossible to accomplish unless you had deep, deep pockets. Because even finding a lot of stuff I have, it's not even on eBay. It's hasn't been on eBay for a long time. So that's it. We're gonna do a quick Q&A, and we only got 7 minutes. We want to respect the time. When that time's done, we are done. So we'll field a couple questions. Yes, right there.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say, I hereby commit, I will pay hundreds of dollars for the right to be, one of the first visitors to the museum and get that expert tour. I know I'm not the only one.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Expert tours.
Yeah.
You want the John Hancock tour?
Yeah. Well, I just want someone who knows the ins and outs of every freaking obscure console.
Well, sit back, relax. You may want to grab some popcorn. So
It's like pouring gasoline on a fire.
But, the interest is there. My question for you,
Yeah.
in Iceland, there's a museum of sorcery that is way in the middle of nowhere in the most remote, cold part of the island.
you have to teleport there?
I know. It's hard to get to, and yet it's been open all these years.
Yeah.
So my question to you, have you considered looking into a really shitty remote part of the North?
Oh, you mean my hometown? No, sorry. No, honestly speaking, yes. Yes, we have. There's plan A, B, and C. It's kind of that Goldilocks thing where, come on up, I got a button for you. Hey, come on up. Great question. Yes, we've looked at that and we're flexible to that. We're flexible about where it is in the Northwest. We really want it to just be successful. And that really comes down, and we'll start somewhere. What's the best place we can start? Because I think it's better than just a start, because I got a crazy amount of games I could share and would be forming Voltron. Let me tell you, if I can get a space to have my collection on display, it's gonna be awesome.
Well, and from a practical standpoint, we've kind of talked over all of the different possible things, that being one of them. And we're just where we landed on is well, we might as well shoot for the stars and see where we end up.
Yeah.
We're going to try that first, and if that doesn't work, then we'll start looking at other more unconventional approaches.
Yes. So yes, that's a great question, and thank you for your time. All right, who else? Yes, saw you first. Blue shirt. Yes.
Yeah, hi. Doing a little bit of snooping, I noticed that your NICS code is a philanthropic museum variety of 501c. A lot of these grants to apply for those take anywhere between 6 months to a year. But you mentioned you're specifically not looking for donations at this time.
Yeah.
What is it that's keeping you from wanting to raise funds already?
Well, because I think part of it is if we can connect to an established business and be a backdrop to a functional business, I don't feel right about taking donations or money for a location until. So a lot of my donations too, just to rewind, were for PRGE collections on display. A lot of my NES and Saturn and stuff. And so that was that focus to complete some very key sets that were going to be on display for that. But really, it depends on location and seeing if they need revenue, and then open it up then. I would feel better if I had a location and saying it's here, and then if you want to donate, here you go. I think the board agreed with that.
And I think another piece of it is, you know, we're the board to support this, but we're also basically, you know, we have full lives and jobs and all that other kind of stuff. You know, I'm not physically going to be running this anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, we're trying to find someone who, as a business, who wants to support this that we're partnering with, because we frankly don't have the time and energy and health or whatever to necessarily run this ourselves.
I think,
It's more a partnership kind of.
yeah, I think offering a collection of my mammoth size to a business to help them draw in people, and if they want to charge a mission or fund their business, I think I can offer quite a bit with that. And I think once that was established, then we could look at, you know, adding to their business or something. I would feel better about that. That's just the approach, you know. Yeah, come on up, question. Yeah, come on up. You want a button?
I'll get after it.
All right, thank you. That's a good question. And there's things we haven't thought about, but that's kind of the approach that we're looking at.
We have talked about grants a couple of times.
We have.
Government grants and stuff like that, and it's, I think, finalized, like we had in there, finalizing the business plan, doing this, announcing it.
Yeah.
Now we're going to start looking.
A, B, C,
more
D,
at that.
E. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Short version is it depends on how some current stuff goes.
Yeah, we have some things in talks that could, would be a reason why. All right, thanks. Tons. You want to pick? Sure.
Hand up in the back.
So if you're not taking donations and if we're not a big sponsor, how can we help?
Well, I think right now the next step really is, we've got a couple minutes left. I think right now just the positive support. You know, I definitely don't want to take that for the nonprofit. There's kind of a budget limitation for the first couple of years of a nonprofit. I'm really not in a place to really like have a lot in the account. I'd feel better if we had a physical location. I think it would be the better approach of saying, once we have a location and we know how much space we're dealing with and how much we can display, you know, because that business may need just to attend, like maybe to attend that business, or maybe to support it by going there or telling other people about it. That's why that would be helpful the best.
We'll have more to share
Yeah.
in the coming months. I would say just in general though, you know, for now, if you do want to be involved, if you are interested, you know, we have you want to pull that contact info back up there?
Yep, email me.
Shoot an email. Anything that comes through, we generally discuss at our meetings anyway. And, you know, you never know when a contact might pan out. You never know when somebody might have a good idea or you might have a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, things that you're interested, just, you know, ideas and what do you want to see from a museum? What would bring you back, you know? Is it going to bring you in once to check it out and then leave? What would make you come back? What would, you know, those types of questions. And we'll probably, once we get the website up, be sending out surveys and stuff. But if you have observations or ideas or you have connections, you know, send those to us. We can't guarantee that they'll go anywhere, but I guarantee you they will be considered for sure.
Send them to the link of when I upload this to my channel.
Yep.
So if someone's doubting or saying something, well, actually, here's this panel on it. This is where we're really at. Back, green.
Will people be able to play the games?
That's the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's the goal. Play and see, yes.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up, and then I can answer questions out there walking to my booth at 3:35. Happy to do a quick picture. We have time for a quick picture, is that good? All right, so we can go ahead and end recording, and thank you so much for coming to this. We're gonna do just a panel picture. I do kind of I want to thank everybody for coming, and then I'm happy to talk more at my booth. I want to honor the time. Am I good? 11 seconds? All right.